And Grace says that she's got a predicament that she's facing, and she says that look, she's been taking care of her mum's house for the last 10 years or so. She's been fixing things around the house, doors and new windows and the whole shebang to keep the house in proper knick-knack shape. She says that she's always asked her siblings to assist with the upkeep of the home, and they've always refused, by virtue saying that, look, you're staying there when she was staying there, and that it's up to you to take care of the home. Now she has her own house, and her brother, who says that, look, he wants to go and stay in the house. But the house, she says, is now being vandalized. There's some damage to the property. And she's concerned around the fact that, she spent money on this home when she was living there. She's put her hard-earned money into it. And now her brother wants to go there. The house is vandalized. And she wants to know what are her rights in this regard with pertaining to this property. Bearing in mind that I believe that it's still her mum's property. It doesn't say or refer to anything about her mum being late, but those are the facts. Bruno, how can we help Grace in this particular matter? What is
you just threw a spanner in the works there right at the end. As you were speaking, the answer was being formulated, and then you're like, the mom might not be have passed away. It's like, so let's make some assumptions here. All right, so we're gonna two components to this. So if the mom hasn't passed away and the mom has passed away, right? It's more likely than not that the mom has passed away, because this is the perfect example of the questions we get in deceased estates that haven't been properly administered. So let's answer the first. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I must say something. It does say, it's in defense of Grace's question, it does say that her mum passed away. It says that she's late.
All right.
But I would appreciate the answer in both regards for our viewers. Thank you so much, Bruno.
Thank you for that. Okay, so if the mom hasn't passed away, technically she's owner of the property. If a person's acting in care of the house, whether the owner knows about it or not, you're probably looking at being able to claim. So now I'm dividing the fact that I'm separating the fact that they're related. So I'm just saying, if a person owns a property and somebody else starts taking care of that property, you start looking at being able to actually claim the value of those expenses, depending on whether they're luxurious or not. So this is in terms of our law when it comes to enrichment claims, notorium gesture, that sort of thing. But the reality is there's a claim against the owner for the expenses or how much you've increased the value of the property by. You can claim this back from the owner, right? The fact that it's a mom doesn't really change the position in law. Can you claim it from the siblings? No, not really, unless there's some kind of contract between you and the mom where she's handed it over to all three of you and you guys were supposed to kind of share it with each other and you didn't, in which case, yes, there might be recourse against the siblings. But like we said, that type of scenario, very unlikely. So it's a kind of a exception rather than the rule. Commonly happens is people pass away, and obviously as happens, but the estate doesn't get administered. There's a couple of ways to administer estates in South Africa. High value estates have to be administered by the appointment of an executor. Low value estates get administered by the appointment of just an administrator. I find it a lot more common with administrators that the estate doesn't get wrapped up quick enough. And 10 years, 15 years down the line, a property transfer still hasn't taken place. In either case, the problem that a person sits with is ownership doesn't vest in anyone yet. So you are not technically owner of the property yet. So first port of call is try to figure out what's happening with that estate. Is it an administration issue? And who is going to inherit that property? Because you may very well find that the property has to be sold in order to cover debt, or whatever the case is. So I'd be very careful now on trying to look for rights against your siblings if you don't yet know what's happening to the property. If the property is going to be inherited by someone, then that's a different story, because you can look at who's going to inherit that property. Also bear in mind, if you've expended money on the property, to keep it up to a certain condition or maintenance level, that's also a claim that you could have against the estate. So when the property is going to be inherited by someone or another, there's a monetary claim for a refund for having maintained. It's almost like the cost of administration. It's an ongoing cost while the estate is being administered. There's a there's a level of allowance being made for maintenance and that sort of thing. So there's a claim against the estate. If somebody else is going to inherit the property, that would really actually play a good part. If only you are going to inherit the property, then I would probably waive that claim just to get the full property and kind of move on with my life. If all three of you are getting the property, then it makes sense to lodge this against the estate. What the executor would then do is he'd do the maths and go, well, there's not enough money in the estate to pay out these claims, so we're going to need to sell the property. Everyone's going to throw up their hands and start fighting and say, no, but you can't sell, da. And then what's going to happen is the heirs are going to start contributing back into the estate. So because it's your claim, they would then need to contribute to cover that amount. So you'd contribute your portion, they would contribute their portion, and in total, that would be an amount that's due to you for the property to be transferred to the three of you. Although if this is how it's going to be, I'd probably suggest that the property not be transferred to the three of you and that some kind of call be made to mortgage the property so that the other two can get paid out and life goes on.